What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Anime Clubhouse. It's your boy Kaim, and today we got a special guest. We got my boy Ricky on for an episode, man. What's going on with you, bro?
Yes, sir. What's up with you, brother? I'm good.
Yeah, man. Glad to get you on finally. So, look, we're going to do a little small deep dive into your anime upbringing, and then to the main topic for today, we're going to be talking about some My Hero. So, tell everybody a little bit about what got you into anime.
All right, so for real, it started when I was little. My cousin, big anime fan, going over his house, always seeing it on Netflix and watching it with him. And at first I'm just like, man, what is this? Like, I couldn't get with it at first because, how a lot of the stigma around anime is it's always super sexual, basically. And that's what I'm seeing. But eventually I had found one that I really took a liking to, and I can't find it again. It was called what was it called? This Ugly Yet Beautiful World. It was about like a alien or something like that, right? But it was hard. Like, I can't think of no other app that's streaming it right now. I done looked it up. I done tried to find it. It's still out there, but you probably got to go like on a website or something to find it. But that was probably the first one that I watched that like really entered me into anime, like This Ugly Yet Beautiful World. So watching that one, I fell in love with that one. And then I want to say, yeah, for the most part, that started off my anime. I probably slept on it a little bit. Wasn't really watching it like that at home when I go back home because my cousin lived out of town. He lived in Indiana. So I go out there for a summer or something like that. And that's where I watched it. But when I came back home, I probably watched them, whatever I was watching, or just play the game type stuff. So I probably didn't touch back on it for real again until like middle school, high school almost. And that's when I started watching stuff like Sword Art Online. That's my personal favorite to this day. Of course, the Dragon Ball Z's. What's another one? Attack on Titan.
You said
All
Sword
of
Art
the.
Online?
Yep, Sword Art Online,
I gotta
Attack on
watch that.
Titan. You ain't never seen Sword Art Online?
Nope. It's this one anime. I always forget the name of it, but it's on Netflix. It's just like Sword Art Online, where they kind of go into like this video game type world. It's tough. I gotta find the name of it. I can't remember what it's called.
You gotta watch Sword Art Online because it's where they go into a game. I'm not gonna spoil it for you too much, but basically, if you die in the game, you die in real life type stuff, right? So it's not a game. If it's a game that you playing, but it's not a game. It's a ultra reality VR world. So you put on a whole VR system over your head type stuff. So it's not like you just putting it over your eyes and you still moving. You put a helmet on and it take control of your nervous system and everything, right? So you fully deep dived in this game type stuff. So it feels real. I don't know if the pain was real, but most likely, but it's basically real. And you know that you in a game, but you still living real life in this game world, in this virtual reality. And if you die in the real game. If your HP hits 0, the helmet that you got on fry your brain in real life. So that's what had everybody like it wasn't a game. So
Okay.
it was super cool. You gotta watch it. And the romance in it is what I really started liking to, because it's two main characters for the most part, and they stick together through the whole season. I think they got what season we in right now, but it's been a whole bunch of movies, and all of the shows. It's still kind of revolved around action romance type stuff, because it's still like he trying to help this girl or this girl trying to help him, right? So that's probably my all-time favorite, and to this day I still been looking for anime to like top that one, or to at least give me like that same feeling I had when I was watching Sword Art Online for the first time.
Okay, so that's still running right now? Like they still got seasons coming out?
Yeah, they still got seasons coming out.
Okay.
I want to say the last season is like Alization or something like that, and then they came out with another movie, but yeah, another season's supposed to be coming out.
Okay, bet. So look, I'm gonna give this your homework assignment so you can come back on for another episode. The anime that I was talking about is called Good Night World. It's the same concept as Sword Art Online, where they got a headset and they in this like video game world. And then another anime, you've seen Rising of the Shield Hero, haven't you?
Mhm.
or you've heard of. Yeah, that's another one of my personal favorites. So check both of them out.
I
Good
seen
Night
Rise of the
World.
Shield Hero. I'm in the last season, but I haven't watched all of the episodes.
Mm,
But I'm definitely in tune with the Rise of the Shield Hero. That one I definitely did like, especially the first time I watched it. When I
it's
first
that
found
stuff,
it,
ain't
yeah,
it?
I definitely did like that one. Yeah, I liked that one a lot.
Yeah, I really mess with Raftalia. She a force
She
to be
hard.
reckoned with for
She
sure.
hard for sure. She
So,
basically the attack power. Like,
oh yeah,
what's his name?
now for me.
Yeah, not for me strong, but for the most part, without her, he wouldn't be too much of nothing.
Yeah, I mean he did. I mean he started coming into his own, like learning how to use the shield, even though it's not really a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like he learned how to use it as a weapon and
For
just take
sure.
advantage of his surroundings and her. But yeah, if you want to check out Goodnight World, it's on Netflix, so
Good night,
definitely check
world.
that
I'm gonna
one out.
definitely get on that.
All right, so like, would you say it's lame to watch anime as an adult?
Not at all. Not at all. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, like I be having this epiphany every time something come on because like that's what like even when I started watching anime as a kid, I didn't let nobody else know I was like into anime type stuff. I probably
Mm,
still struggle with it internally, the fact that I watched it, you know, as a kid type stuff, right? Cause it's just like everybody else gonna say it's lame type stuff, right? I even had an instance in middle school, not middle school, elementary school. In elementary school, but it lasted all the way to middle school and high school. This one event type stuff, right? I had a girl that I was talking to. It was literally for only one day, right? I had a girl that we called, you know, whatever we was in, like a little relationship or whatever, for one day, right? So we
mm,
called ourselves going out. And that day at school, I brought some of my cards that I be playing with back at the crib, right? Mind you,
yeah.
we in elementary school, so we all kids at this point, right? But of course, if they find out you doing something like that, they gonna say you lame. If you watch anime, they gonna say you lame. If they see you playing with Pokemon cards or whatever, they gonna say you lame, right? So that's what it was. They said that I brought some Pokemon cards to this school, right? This elementary, this probably was probably either fourth grade, probably around that time. So in between third and fifth, right?
Mm,
So that's what they said it was. It wasn't Pokemon cards, right? I had some Bakugans. I had got them for Christmas. Somebody bought me a Bakugan set, right?
um,
And they was hard. If you know Bakugan, right? You remember Bakugan,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah, bro. We used to have our Beyblades and bring them to school and be battling
Bro.
each other.
And so I was never, of course I watched it, but I was never really into the Beyblades. Like I don't think I ever bought one. And if I did, it was probably just one because I seen everybody else in the school or all of the other boys whenever we got free time, they'd pull their mug out and they'd be playing with them in the middle school. So I'm like, yeah, like on me, I definitely wanted to play. So I probably wanted one, but never really invested into them like that. But I did get them Bakugan sets for whatever holiday, whether it was my birthday, Christmas, or whatever type stuff. I had got a Bakugan set. So it was like a big Bakugan that came together. But if you know how Bakugan is, it's a card with a beast or a monster, whatever, right? And so it was five of them. They was all supposed to be elite, and they all came together to make one big dragon. So it was actually a dragon, but you can take the dragon apart, and each intricate piece was its own Bakugan in itself. So you could ball that up. So it was like five balls, and they all had their own card, right? And they all had their own different name, but you could put them together to make one big Bakugan. So that was probably one of my favorite toys I've ever had, right? I brung it to school one day because I felt like I was the man having it, right? And I still felt like to this day, like can't nobody tell me nothing about what she was talking about, or what she tried to make it seem it was, because it was a bunch of people at the table when I brung it out, and everybody was looking, right, and everybody wanted to roll that little Bakugan, and then it hit the card, and then it pop open, because that's how it worked. The card was a little small magnet that told you what the Bakugan was, but you'll ball it up and you could roll a ball, and whenever it land on the card, it pop open. So it was like a little like you was actually playing in the game type stuff in the show Bakugan. So it was
Mm,
hard. I definitely did enjoy it, and everybody else that was around me was enjoying it too, right? I guess she said that was lame or whatever. She went and told her friends, and they went and told everybody around the school that I brought some Pokemon cards, even though they was Bakugan. They said it was Pokemon cards, right? I shit you not. they was talking about this shit even in high school.
Bro,
Like if
them
it was like
elementary
a joke, if anybody was joking about me, they'd throw that in there if they knew me from back then.
elementary or middle school, bro, that was like you couldn't like if you have one single thing that you let people get on you, bro, they'll talk about that shit for the rest of your life. Like, what do you expect, bro? If it's like fourth, fifth grade, even third grade, like you still like kids. We ain't even teenagers yet, and we getting made fun of for having Bakugan and Beyblades at school.
Exactly. All right, so bring that back to my point that the reason that made me say that, right? I used to think it was lame in school because that's what everybody else said, right? But as an adult, I look back on it and like, dang, I really hate that I didn't embrace that and that I really did feel lame for watching it at times, or I let people convince me that it was lame, or at least just hearing it around so much. I knew that everybody else thought it was lame, so I kept it in that I watch it, right? So I didn't fully really embrace it until now. And even now, like, I'm not super vocal about it. If you know me though, you know that I watch it. But if you don't know me, you probably not gonna see nothing on my page pertaining to anime unless you watching my story all day. I barely post about it, but nowadays, like whenever I come across a little post or something, I definitely throw it on my story to where people can see, because I don't care. And I think people who watch like 2B movies all day long, who super glorified in the hottest shows. Or have you seen what's the name of the shows? Empire,
Oh, like yeah,
Ghost,
like The Circle or them
yeah,
type of shows,
like the
Love
shows.
Island, that type of shit.
No, I watch those shows. No, you tripping? I watch those. I'm talking about the big shows that everybody be talking about, right? Look, he said he gonna
Yeah,
call that.
I don't even watch Love Island, but I might get into it though. But I've seen The Circle,
I
yeah.
be watching stuff like that on Netflix whenever I ain't got nothing else to watch, just because it pop up and it be like this for where everybody watching, right? So I be like, let me see what this about. And since you know, I just be like to see what people be going through in their little relationships or whatever. Even though it is a TV show type stuff, they do be trying to work to get into relationships. So it teach you a little bit about how people interact in social settings type stuff, or about relationships. So that's why I
Yeah.
be watching it, to take little notes on stuff like that.
I be
But
doing the same thing. Love is Blind, I do that, dissect it a
yeah,
little
type
bit.
stuff like on me, you get little keys here and there type stuff, right? But no, I mean like shows like Power, Empire, the big show that everybody be talking about, right? Black shows, but most of these shows it only depict trauma for the most part, or the downfall of our community. They
Right.
it's always about killing, drug dealing, and stuff like that, prostitution, just trauma, stuff that's not pushing us in a elevated direction type stuff, right? This is stuff that's keeping us down. So when people glorify shows like that all the time, you see that it was the number one show, and like, and probably just not in this nation, but a bunch of different nations. Like when them shows
Right.
was out, Empire, Power, and all of those shows when they first came out, like everybody was talking about it. It was all over social media. That's all anybody was talking about in our community, the Black community. And it's like, what? Everybody's watching it. But back then, I'm like, I'm not gonna watch that just because that's what everybody talking about right now. So it's literally got everybody that's watching it because that's what everybody talking about. They making it popular off word of mouth through seeing it a couple of times on TV, and that's what they like to see. They like to see the stuff that they used to seeing, but a lot of stuff that we used to seeing is negative type stuff. It's not pushing us nowhere. It's just keeping us in the same box type stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, I already know what this show about. 9 times out of 10, it got a decent storyline, but it's because that's what all of us going through. It's a bunch of us seeing uh our parents doing this, that, and the third type stuff to get by type stuff, and now as adults, we justify doing the same thing as a means to an end type stuff, but it's not getting us nowhere. It's two places you gonna go if that's the route you take, and that's the route that you try to make your empire a pound, and that's dead or in jail type stuff. It's not too many people that have made it out the drug game, and that's literally the only thing that they did. That was their number one source of income, was the drug game. They didn't have
Right.
nothing else, and that's all they wanted to do, right? And they get into all other situations because of that. So they going through a lot of trauma and a lot of hurt type stuff. So I'm like, that's lame. How you gonna say, well, I'm watching lame when that's what's really lame? Like, it's not getting you nowhere type stuff. when you watch anime, you get uplifted. It make you invoke real emotion. That's why it's uncomfortable for a lot of people because it invoke all of your emotions type stuff, not just showing you what you used to in your environment.
Right.
You know what
I
I'm
think
saying?
a
So
lot
you're
of
used to
people.
seeing it. That's why you like it, because it's what you used to seeing.
Mm, I think a lot of people like really for anime trip off of the fact that it's like, animated or like the cartoon aspect. And then like, you have the, the other childish motifs that they add in here and there from certain characters. And I think that's pretty much what people can't get over. But it's like, it just adds some
Exactly.
pizzazz to the anime or like, some filler or whatever you want to call it. But you know what I'm saying? If people actually sit down to take the time to actually watch the anime, it's going to teach you life lessons that a lot of these other shows that's popular, just like you said, don't teach you anything at all. Like you're going to learn how to start your own drug business by watching Power. Like you can't take nothing from that. Or, I mean, it's like if somebody realistically tried to do that, like you're still going to get caught. Like, but
Eventually, if you don't
yeah,
have come on now.
but I've learned so many different life lessons just watching anime. And people fail to realize all the people that think anime is lame, like they really don't know how big the anime community actually is. Like there are grown ass people who dress up and go to cosplay events and dress up as their favorite anime characters. Like this is not just for kids at all.
It's not. And to say that it's hilarious because a lot of dudes take that route because they think it's gonna get them a lot of play, a lot of booty, right?
Mm,
It's a lot of dudes that take the anime route to do the same thing, right?
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Because it's a bunch of girls into that stuff too. Just like you said, they be dressing up. They just don't understand, like you said, how big the community is. And there's some bad females out there that watch anime. Some really cool, down to earth people. That's in general, beautiful people in general. So yeah, it's a dope community, and the childish aspects of it is what make it dope because it keep all of us young minded, even at an older adult age type stuff.
right,
Because that's really how we are supposed to be. When you're looking at a kid type stuff, all they need is a cape and a cardboard box. And in their imagination, they can have some of the most amazing journeys in a box type stuff, right? We
mm,
can't do that as adults because we get away from it. We try to, everything else we're going through as adults, we not really going through that. And that's why I make them uncomfortable watching anime and they get to acting childish because they don't know how to get into that mold themselves no more because they always worried about being an adult and handling adult responsibilities that they forget to be a kid, to be young, to really appreciate your youth because that's how you stay young is by acting young.
right. And then it's like, so like piggybacking off of that is like they think watching anime is childish, but like a lot of people will sit up here and go in the club and show their ass and do all that, all that messing around in the club. Like you don't think that's childish? Like you in your mid-20s going to the club to shake your ass. I mean, I guess people have their different things of what they view fun as, but anime, like I said, it teach you a bunch of different life lessons. And then like bro, it's crazy the effect that anime has. Like me and you, I would consider two people to love anime as adults, but it's like the show still has the power and the ability to give me chills in it as a show. No, like I've
Facts.
gotten that from other like realistic TV shows sometimes, but anime has always been able to consistently do that.
That's why I really love Sword Art Online because like watching that show, like you start feeling so many different emotions so quick because through the first few episodes, you seen everything from romance to action to death, remorse, grief, and it make you really feel that stuff. So it's like, dang,
Mhm.
like you get attached to characters, and then something happened to them. You feel like something happened to your people type stuff. Like, dang, I was really messing with that character. Just how they be
Right.
so attached to these TV dramas about you know all these different shows like Power, they be so attached to these characters that they really be on social media sticking up for these characters or talking
Right.
down on these characters the same way we be having conversations about anime. They do the same thing with these characters and they justify it because what they real life people acting and
Mm.
playing a role.
And
Come
they
on
do it
now.
for their favorite celebrities too. They supporting somebody who don't even know them where we watching anime and we actually learning something. What you learning by going on, or like, posting your favorite celebrity on Instagram all the time? You ain't learning nothing.
Not.
But so I mean, my next question was like, why do you watch anime? But I mean, you kind of covered a little bit, but if it's some other stuff you want to add to that, you definitely can.
Why I watch anime is to stay young, because it has that young aspect in it, got that playfulness in it. It's always trying to make you laugh, even in some of the most serious situations type stuff. Even in the most traumatic experiences for them, they still put it in such a light and try to make it comedic, even though they know how to make you really feel it whenever they do want to make you feel it. Whenever, it's that kind of scene type stuff. But that to get away from the trauma and stuff that we seeing all through our community on TV all day type stuff. Like, why do I want to see that when that's what I'm going through all day? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not appealing to me. I understand why a lot of people watch it, because that's what they used to seeing. That's all they know type stuff. But I be trying to get away from stuff like that, because that's why they putting it in our face, because they want you to keep going through those same cycles. So I watch it to get out of those cycles. It pumped me up. So I do it to give me motivation, inspiration, to spark my creativity. You know what I'm saying? Because these characters, like, they going through a bunch of different odds, and they take them head on type stuff. I know a lot of these other shows depict people going through problems, but when it comes to anime, they really be giving these characters like some deep stories, and they got some good heads on their shoulders. So, they trying to go about things the right way type stuff. And, it give me ideas on how to go about, going through my own life, i.e., solo leveling. Main character on there used to be super weak, right? And one of his quests, once he started to get stronger, was every day he had to do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and he had to run like 10 kilometers, right? It's every day he had to do this. So this is, making me dial in on my fitness type stuff, right?
Right.
Because that's a big part of my own life type stuff. But you fall off dealing with everything else you're dealing with. You might not have a gym membership, so you might not work out that much type stuff, or you might be just going through whatever, working all of the time. So now they got you tired more than often, because you're trying to make sure the bills stay paid, so you ain't paying attention to working out. So seeing that he had to do that every day, even on top of all his other quests, gave me motivation. They got me up doing push-ups and stuff like that. And, the way they think about life is different than how we think about life type stuff. So it's a bunch of different reasons. I could be talking all day about why I watch anime, but that was the main ones.
Right. And then I definitely would say, like, it's just an escape. Like, we done grew up together, so you know what it was. Straight after school, we'd all come home and hop straight on the game. Like, just get away from all the school, the homework, the drama from school, all the stresses from school. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody experienced all the different chapters of school, bullying, being talked about, all that extra stuff. So us getting on the game, having fun. Same thing with anime. It's just an escape. Get on, watch your favorite shows,
Exactly.
all of that good stuff. So, that's why I love watching anime. I'm gonna keep watching anime. But so if you was trying to get somebody into anime, what would you say your reasoning would be to try to convince them to start it?
I tell them that it's just as exciting as anything that you've ever seen. The storylines be super deep, and they super good. I tell them that, it just give you a different way to think about life, because
Mm,
it's not what you used to seeing, and
right.
it's a bunch of different characters on there that's all basically designed to teach you something else, a certain aspect about yourself, like the seven deadly sins, right? All of them depict the seven deadly sins: wrath, pride, greed, gluttony, all of those type stuff, right? All of those characters also depict those sins as well, and they also teach you how to get past them. And that's the biggest thing. Uh, that's one of the biggest things that's in the seven deadly sins, is how they actually overcome those seven deadly sins. So just that in itself teach you a lot about life.
The Seven Deadly Sins is actually one of my favorites too. But Attack on Titan has one of the greatest life stories in it. Like just everything that they went through. Like you could literally take that and apply it to our world now, just like the same going through the same cycle. If you've watched Attack on Titan, or you somebody that's thinking about getting into anime, you should definitely watch Attack on Titan, because once you get to the end, you could take all of that and apply it to our real world now. Just like the cycle that they went through with the Titans and how it ended, and how the cycle is just doomed to repeat itself. Because I definitely think that was one of the best animes that anybody could watch if they're trying to like start off with something that has a really good lesson.
Yeah. See, I definitely do recommend a lot of people that. But the crazy thing is, I straight ain't caught up on that one. I definitely got to catch up on that one. Have you seen all the
Attack on Titan
episodes?
for AOT?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen everything. I'm done with it. I'm mad that it ended, but yeah, I'm done with it.
So they not doing no more episodes, right?
Nah, it's over with.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and catch up on that thing.
Well, I don't know. Like, I guess they could. I mean, I guess the way that it ended, they could spin it, but I don't think they will.
I had stopped after I had got to the end of the season back. It was probably before I graduated, or like when it first came out, type stuff. Like the first couple of seasons I watched, and that was the end. I watched it all the way up. So of course, it take about a year for the next season to come out, and I just never picked it back up. What's another good one like Attack on Titan?
That's one that's I hate. Bleach. I need to watch that. See, Bleach, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z is like the ones that I grew up on, and like I need to go back and rewatch all three of those.
Now, Dragon Ball Z is another one I always grew up on. Of course, I said like when I say anime, the reason why I say I barely say Dragon Ball Z is because I'm just so used to it. It don't be feeling like it like this sometimes. Like it's anime. And what's anime? Japanese cartoons, right? But so I'm so used to seeing Goku that I feel like he American, but it's still anime type stuff, right? So yeah, of course, Dragon Ball Z, I always grew up on it. I always loved Dragon Ball Z. You couldn't tell me that was even anime. In my mind, Dragon Ball Z just like SpongeBob.
Right.
Like it was just that for me. It was like SpongeBob. I grew up on SpongeBob too. So yeah, Goku was right alongside SpongeBob me.
I mean, that's how common it is. Like it's people that don't even watch anime. If you ask them to name an anime, they probably 9 times out of 10 gonna say something like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto.
Goku, Bleach, on me.
But have you seen Black Clover?
I have not.
Black Clover is another good one. A lot of Black Clover, like it gets a lot of hate. That's probably my top one favorite anime. It get a lot of hate, but it's so good. People love to say that they took stuff from Naruto, but they didn't. We was talking about it earlier, how you see different concepts within different animes. Like, the main protagonist, Asta, like he's somebody that starts off with no abilities. Then he gets some sort of ability from somewhere, but he always was working hard regardless of what he had beforehand. Like, dude, like he actually be giving me inspiration. The dude literally, like, he's strong as hell. Like he be doing like 500 push-ups a day, or like some ridiculous ass number, but he's always working out though. He's like super strong, so he didn't even need, I mean, I'm not going to say he didn't need the power, because he definitely did, but it's like this world where they have like magic. But so he definitely did need it, but he worked just as hard as somebody who already had it.
Thanks.
But yeah, so you definitely got to check that out. But diving into My Hero. So we got some good stuff to talk about for My Hero. So starting off, who is your favorite character in My Hero?
It's gonna have to be I can't even think of their names because I ain't seen it in a while. Only one I can't think of is Bakudo and Izuki, but I don't like either one of them like as my favorite, just because Midoriya cry too much and Bakudo too damn angry.
See, that's another thing that people was talking about, the main character Asta from Black Clover. They say he scream a lot. Like, you can't nitpick certain shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he do scream a lot, but is it who else? You got certain things like that in all animes from different characters. What's another anime where you got a character that's just annoying? Give me an annoying character out of
I say
anime.
Goku. Really, Goku always on some dumb stuff.
I mean, yeah, I would even. What about Naruto though? You telling me Naruto not annoying?
I ain't really watch it like that. I straight haven't got into Naruto like this, so I don't know too
Okay,
much
bet.
about Naruto. I mean, I
Yeah,
know
but just
all of the big
Naruto
fights and the
himself.
main characters. But
Yeah, just not even everybody else, just Naruto himself. Like he
yeah,
could be really annoying at times, but so like I don't think there's much of a difference between how annoying he is and how annoying Asta is from Black Clover. But yeah, back to so for your favorite character, can you think of like what ability they may have?
it's the dude with the ice and fire. What's his name?
Oh, Todoroki.
Todoroki. He my favorite.
Yeah. He one of my favorites too. I don't know if he's not my top favorite, but he is one of my favorites though, just because like, you know, fire and ice, and then you know who his father is,
Yeah,
the new number one hero. So like, you know, he's definitely gonna be destined for greatness. For me, I would say Deku is my favorite. I mean,
yeah.
I
And
do be
that, but
having favorites that's not the main.
a lot of people nitpick him too, like you were just saying. Like the reason why it's hard for people to get into Deku or just into My Hero in general is because he always cries.
But he don't cry that much, bro. Like my man's is just passionate, bro. Cut him some
He is
slack.
though, but what was the fight that just messed me up? Because that's what I woke up to. Because I put it on last night to refresh it a little bit, and they had that tournament right where Deku was the leader and he was trying to snatch off the wrap off of Todoroki neck, right? But he grabbed the wrong one, so he thinking they lost type stuff. But the shadow dude had the one with 600 on it. He started
Right.
crying, busting out tears. All you see is a fountain of him crying. I'm just like, bro, that's what they say. That's what they talk about right there. Like that's the first thing I see waking up is this dude.
He just passionate, bro. But you gotta remember, they still kids too. Like, I mean, they
Facts.
are in high school, but like they first years, so like they really freshmen. So you know,
Yeah.
they still pretty childish. You know, they ain't really grown up yet. But you know, throughout the anime, they have they trials and tribulations that
Yeah,
make them
they all
grow.
get better. They all definitely get better for sure.
So what out of all the quirks, and it's a lot of them shits. What's your favorite quirk, or some of your favorites?
It's gonna have to be all for one for sure. Uh, I
All
like
for one or one for
Bakuros
all?
and Todoroki. Uh, one for all. Ain't that's
One
the
for
one
all
that
from All Might.
yeah.
Okay, bet. All right, look. So for me, that's probably my top favorite one for all, because like you up to season 5. That's well, I think you've seen a little bit past season 5, but that's where I'm
Yeah, I
at.
done seen it all of the season 6. I just ain't seen 7 yet.
Yeah, so season 5 is starting to
Oh yeah,
to
it's finna get good, bro.
yeah,
It's finna
it's
get
the
real good.
one
You
for
ain't even
all is
seen the
starting
best.
to it's sitting for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's starting
Yeah, it's
to
starting to marinate.
that marinate. Yeah, it's marinating. So he's starting to get them other quirks. You know, he just got Black Whip, and that's
Yeah,
what I just seen him get. So and then he's supposed to be getting some other little quirks too, but it's festering. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna
yeah.
turn into
He
something else, and
hard.
it's
He
yeah, and
definitely
that's what
get
they're talking
hard.
about. They were saying that it's going they said something about like it's not going to start until like with him, like Deku. So like I guess the quirk is gonna start, you know, changing, and it's gonna turn into the best thing it's ever been, and it's now with him. So you know, it's definitely gonna turn into something real nice. But I like one for all. I like it's not my favorite, but copy. I think it's a good quirk. That's
What?
from Monoma, the dude from class what is it, 1B? The
He
dude
can
that copied Twerks, the one that's always getting slapped because he being annoying with the blonde hair.
I can't see who he is, but I'm pretty sure I remember that quirk though.
Yeah, he copy people quirks. So I don't know if you know the girl with the big fist. Like that's her quirk. She got big fists and she got like orange hair.
If I seen them all, I can remember them. I just can't tell you their names.
Yeah, but that's his quirk copy. So he can copy any quirk pretty much for the most part, but he has to touch the user. So it's like
Mm.
that's a nice quirk. Like he could realistically get almost any quirk. Like sometimes he do draw blanks where he can't copy the quirk for real. Like one for all was a quirk that he couldn't copy. But it's just like, you know, that is a useful quirk to have, but it's just like you have to touch the person. So it's like
Yeah. So
if
you
you
got to
can't
be
touch them, then
strong.
you kind of screwed. Like, you know, if you need to copy a certain person's quirk in the moment, and either they not there or you just can't get your hands on them to touch them. So I don't know. it's good, but at the same time, it could also fuck him over and put him in a bad situation too.
But don't his copy make it stronger too? It copy it like at its fullest power, ain't it?
I think so. That I'm not 100% on, but I think so.
I might not have that right, but I thought I remember it being like when he copy it, it's at least a little bit stronger, or he know how to use it good.
Yeah, I don't even know. You definitely could be right, but yeah, that would be a nice quirk to have on anybody's team or agency or
I
whatever.
definitely like Todoroki's quirk, but after learning his backstory, it's like dang, it's heavy, and that's
Right.
why I like it because it's like uh I feel like a lot of people from our community can kind of relate to that, you know,
Mm,
the his kind of backstory where you kind of like resentful of your dad and
mm,
really just died in on your mother. That's who for the most part raised you type stuff. I feel like a lot of people can relate to his backstory for sure.
right.
And
And I like how they doing it now where they kind of like trying to patch up the relationship and stuff too. So
hmm
like, they showing that is possible.
exactly, and see that's why I like anime, because if you was to compare it to most of the shows that we know within our community that's popular, these reality drama TV shows, you don't really see stuff like that really. You
Right.
see,
Power,
you
for
go,
instance.
yeah, you're not gonna see him exactly. That boy shot that man. That boy shot his father.
Yeah, Tariq couldn't stand his daddy. I
He
mean,
couldn't
he's
stand him, and I couldn't stand Tariq because he couldn't stand his pop. And see, I can relate that too because it's like at one point in my life, I had the same kind of resentment type stuff towards my pop, and but like I never wanted to have that though. Like I
mm,
always, I didn't want that to be. I wanted the opposite. I wanted the father son bond, but you know, we never really got there type stuff, right? So I definitely did hold that resentment, but I didn't want to. So of course I definitely tried. And before, he passed away type stuff, I definitely did try to, get closer to him type stuff. So I feel like a lot of people in our community, they the opposite, I ain't trying to patch nothing up with bro type stuff, like forget dude type stuff.
right.
And I definitely did like that, Todoroki could patch things up with his pops, and that his pops was willing to try, put his best foot forward type stuff, because yeah, you gonna have to. So
Right.
I feel like even as adults, like a lot of dudes need to see that. They
Mm,
need to see that because a lot of dudes in our community, older adults, got Todoroki's dad kind of backstory with his kids type stuff.
mm.
And they need their redemption arc. Like his redemption arc was really nice type stuff. Like he tried and he put his best foot forward. He, started to see the error in his ways and change type stuff for the better type stuff. I really like to see that type stuff. So yeah, that made me feel good type stuff. And a lot of dudes can learn from it.
Yeah, and then like I definitely think like power is not like the best example of life lessons, but it's, if you really try to take your time and dissect it, you can see where people went wrong and you can learn your lessons that way. Like Tariq, for instance,
Yeah.
you could see what his dad was trying to do for him and not have him go down the same path that he went to, send him off to private school and all that, and all the hate and resentment he had and what he did, took taking out his own father. Like, he don't get the opportunity to fix that or whatever, but like
Mm-hmm.
maybe he do see where he went wrong because he said he wasn't going to be nothing like his father and he turned into the spitting image of him, making all the
Mm-hmm.
same mistakes that he did. So that's just where you could look at power as an example.
Yeah, yeah. You would definitely have to, like you said, cross dissect, but you gotta have a mindset for that too. And the anime, it it don't really make you dissect it like that because it show you from start to finish type stuff. For the most part, all of these villains or the more so negative characters, they also go through a redemption arc type stuff. So a lot of these characters, they don't try to redeem themselves. You don't have to like dissect how they could have tried to redeem themselves or any of that type of stuff, because most of them actually do go through their redemption arc and come out a whole better person. So you see the full development of a lot of characters in anime type stuff. So that's what makes it a really nice experience, because you don't really see them go off being the same kind of person that they was at the beginning of the show. You see
Right.
the development throughout the seasons. They get stronger, they get smarter, they get more empathetic, whatever it is type stuff. They always have a decent amount of growth within the show, coming out a
Mm.
completely different person than when they first started. If you was compare them at the start of the show to the end of the show, they're two different characters. And that's what I like about anime.
Mm. Oh yeah, for sure. And then one other of the my favorite quirks that I think well, again, not my favorite, but I definitely think it's a dope quirk. You remember Toga, the girl from the League of Villains? Her
Mm-hmm.
quirk is transformed, but to use it, so she could transform into anybody. But to use it, she has to get their blood. So she definitely got some good combat skills because it don't really seem like it's that hard for her to get people blood. All she got to do is cut you,
Mm-hmm.
and she pretty good at doing that.
Yeah. She's slithery for sure.
And her quirk just got a power up too, so she already could transform into people and fool you into thinking that she's somebody else. But now she can, when she transforms into them, she can use their quirk too.
Mm.
So I don't know if you remember that part, but when they was like the League of Villains was fighting those Liberation Army people, she transformed into Uraraka and she could use her gravity quirk, and she had figured that out. So like you see right there, that was a moment where her character got that development because of what she was going through, and then her power then went to another level. Yeah, and then so, all right, so switching gears a little bit. So what do you think some of the worst hero names are in the show?
Bakudo couldn't think of a name to save his life. The
I think
best
he got one
genius.
now. I think so. Yeah,
The
best
best
genius is
genius. Like, bro, what is that? Just because he got that jean jacket on. Tail Man. All of them was bad, bro. The Tail
then, bro,
Man.
the best genius. Like, why did the jean jacket got to come all the way up to your mouth?
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro was on.
And there's
He
no
said,
way
"I'm really
he's
killing
moving
them out here."
around. There's no way he's moving around like that with some damn jean material costume
No, he
on.
said this that stretch bands, baby.
He gotta have the stretching material.
Hey, them some sport jeans. Got to. You can't convince me otherwise.
But like,
Them some
so
active jeans.
that you got Can't Stop Twinkling from Ayama, the dude with the belly button laser.
On me.
It's like I would never want to be saved by Can't Stop Twinkling. Like I wouldn't even want to say his name.
Uh uh the Invisible Girl. I mean, that's just too plain and like
Yeah, it ain't got
it
no
give it
pizzazz
away.
to it.
Like, oh wow, of course. I said the Tail Man already. That one just like, of course.
Sugar Man.
It's a bunch of them, bro. I don't even remember half of them because there's so many different people on her. I actually like Red Riot. He is cool.
Yeah, Red Riot got a cool little name.
Yeah, Red Riot decent.
But I never would want to be saved by Sugar Man. That just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Which one did I say first?
Bakugo.
Yeah, not him though.
But he's supposedly
Oh,
supposed to
the
have a
best genius.
superhero name now.
Yeah, the best genius. When I see that, I'm just like, yeah, this dude right here. What if you ain't got no jeans? All your jeans dirty.
What if they all dry cleaners?
He said, "That's all I got is jeans, huh? That's all you wear is jeans."
Every single outfit in his closet is jeans. He ain't got no white tees, no nothing.
You hear me? When it get hot outside, he just cut the legs off, so he got jean shorts.
Bro. Then if it's the winter time, he's still wearing the same thing. Like he ain't got no thicker layers or nothing.
He got the jean jacket with the fur on the inside of it. he good.
So who you think got some of the best hero names?
I'm gonna just put this one out there. I like how Deku ran with that name after they, started calling him that because he was weak type stuff. You know what I'm saying? I like how he ran with that name because it's not a bad name type stuff. So if you was to ask
Right.
him, like, from Izuku Midoriya to Deku, like, where did you get Deku type stuff?
Mm.
And you
I
can,
forgot what it
I
actually
like that.
means. Deku. Like I
I
know
forgot
they
what it means too.
I know Bakugo gave him that name, like making fun of him when they was kids. But yeah, like you said, I do like how he turned it into something positive. And it don't even sound like nothing bad either. Like it sounds like a really good hero name. Deku.
Yeah, I like it. What's his name? The dude with the uh Ingenima, or is it something like that? What's it?
Ingenium, yeah, that was the next
Ingenium.
dude on my list with
Yeah, he
the
one of
little
my
motors
favorites
on
too.
his calf muscles, the engine.
Yeah, I like his power. It's like that's always one thing that I always loved about different shows and people with powers is the dude who can run super fast. Like Flash,
Mm.
I always loved them kind of dudes. Like that's a power I would choose type stuff. Like if I had super strength and there's a different array of powers that I could choose from, but I could only choose one. If super speed was up there, I'd want to pick super speed over a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then this one, I don't think it's a good hero name. I just think it's funny, and it also fits the person that it belongs to. But Mineta, the dude with the purple hair with the balls on his head,
I mean,
his hero name is Grape Juice. Like it's not a really a good hero name, but if it
I
suits
like
him
that
though,
on me.
like yeah,
It
it's
definitely
like
do
it's
makes
good
it
for
makes sense
him.
for him for sure.
Yeah, but like, dude, hey, bro, he be cracking me up. Like, he's the person. He
The
provides a
pervy
lot of
dude.
the pervy dude in the anime that provides a lot
Uh-huh.
of comic relief. Like
That I was gonna
in
say, yeah.
in Seven Deadly Sins, it was Meliodas. Like but he got his moments where he could be evil with his demonic side, but like he always trying to put his face in Elizabeth's boobs and shit. So that'd be
Yeah,
funny too.
exactly. And that's what throw a lot of people off to it though, because of that. But it appeals to all of our natural emotions though. Like that's
Mm,
natural. You might not act like that in public type stuff, but come on now. Behind
right,
closed
you
doors.
definitely not gonna be as bold as they are in anime sometimes, but it definitely is funny though.
Yeah.
So I know you wanted to get into a little bit of character versus character, Deku versus Bakugo.
I'm if he got all for one, even if he only had just the hands type stuff, I feel like not Bakudo, but Deku will win just because he's smarter than Bakudo, and Bakudo don't know how to calm down enough, right? So if you
Mm,
have to put them both max power against each other, it's gonna be a good fight. But I feel like throughout the entire seasons, uh Deku winning 9 times out of 10. Unless Bakudo just go all out murder trying to do that to him, like soon as he get there. But even still, like even with him being bloodlusty and hit all that power that he got, I feel like Deku just smart enough to outdo him some way, shape, form, how. Like even if he had to hurt himself to catch him lacking, if Deku really wanted to, he'd win every time type stuff.
mm.
But of course, we know that Deku got that soft side to him. So if Bakudo was just on that, didn't care, and caught Deku off guard, or Deku just couldn't really hit him like he needed to subdue him, Bakudo gonna mop that boy.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it would be a pretty even fight. Like, even though we know Deku to be more strategic and actually have a plan when he goes into things, I think that's where people like sleep on Bakugo. Like, he may not come up with a plan and like verbally state it out loud like Deku would, but he never goes into anything and not have an idea of what he's finna do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think um he ain't as strategic, but he just on his feet more. He
He learned how to as he
instinct, and he
go.
just does it instead of like verbally saying it or coming up with a plan like Deku would. So I definitely think they pretty even in terms of fighting capability. But if I think he could catch Bakugo lacking if Bakugo gave him enough time to come up with something, because Deku is pretty clever. But I think Bakugo could pretty much match anybody in the fight though.
He can for sure. He gonna dominate out the gate, but if he slip up,
Just
Deku will
once.
catch him. Deku will catch him, but that's if we comparing them at when Deku first got his power. Now if we comparing them to when Midoriya start to really get a hold of all for one or one for all, I don't think it's that even anymore, because not only is Deku just as strong, if not stronger than Bakudo at this point, off raw strength alone, off of just power to power raw strength, Deku gonna mop that boy. He already got too many. He got multiple quirks at this point, so he gonna mop that boy. All he gotta do is hit him in the jaw one good time. It's over with. You
Right.
know, it's
But I
over
think
with.
it's like I agree with everything you just said, but it's just the simple fact that Deku is at a slight disadvantage because Bakugo has grown up with his quirk. You know what I'm saying? Deku inherited One for All from All Might when like right before he went to the school. You know what I'm saying? So he had to
True.
learn how to do everything a lot faster. And this
True.
quirk is still developing. So it's still shit he don't even know about the quirk that's still happening that he has to learn how to do
True.
and use. So he's
But you
always going to be at a
still
disadvantage until he learn how to fully use it.
but you still talking about Deku. And if we talk about full strength, he got pretty much a good hold on how to use his power off of just the the raw strength. But now he got multiple different quirks now. So he got quirks that can make him just as fast and move just as swiftly as Bakudo can with the way he be using his quirk. It's
Oh
not
yeah, he
even
getting
no
cooked.
more. So
He's
if
getting cooked.
off just that alone, all he got to do is outthink him for one. So he ain't even got to go super all out. Just off of raw strength, he can outthink him and subdue that boy. Just how he did when he ain't even really had powers like that. He had to slam that boy on his neck. If he would have slammed that boy and like he would have been over with, right? The fight would
Yeah,
have been
he's
over.
gonna get cooked for sure. But like, I don't know. This might just be like a me thing, but personally, like
It
I
got to
like
be you.
everything that Deku can do now,
It's
but it's
you.
like I low key liked him better when he like imitated All Might a little bit, like when he used the punch style more, you know, versus the kicks.
Facts. I mean, but the kick is just as strong though. It don't matter. He
They
throwing all
are
that force behind it. He catch you with that mug. You finna go through this next wall and that
right, but
next
I haven't
wall.
really seen him use like a full power kick like that. Like when, like you know, like the
Cause
fight
you know
with
what happened to
Muscular, for
him.
instance. Yeah, like you know, when that was back when he really couldn't control it. But you remember that fight with Muscular, the dude in the forest that would get strong and had the muscle tissue and all that. Yeah, so like you know when he used that punch against him, like that was one of my favorite fight scenes when he had like did what did he do, a Detroit smash or something. It was like at 100%, I think, and he punched him. Like I like that
Yeah.
versus the kicks. I haven't seen him do a kick with that much power behind it, but he is learning some new moves. He got his full cowling, and you know he can, you know, I forgot what he called it, but when he uses the air pressure to send his long range attacks. So you know he is getting deeper in his bag. But you know, I do like when he was more forceful, like All Might was, and he got the big, strong attacks that's
Yeah.
just out of this world.
I mean, I feel like if that boy wants such a little, I ain't gonna say it. He cool. I ain't gonna talk down on him like that. He definitely got some charisma and some courage to him, but he just like Goku. He got that soft heart. So if he had Bakudo's mindset with one for all or all for one or whichever one it is, he get mocked every time. If Bakudo had Deku powers and Deku had Bakudo powers, come on now, we gonna know who gonna be the winner of that one. Cause he trying to hit him 100% every time he catch you. I'm trying to maul. Come on now. If Bakudo had Deku powers, it'd be crazy for people.
But I think he
It's
like both
already
of
crazy
them.
for people. How he be
Yeah,
blowing people up like that.
right. I think both of them are like, you know, they learning stuff from each other. Like they both are low key taking some of the best qualities from each other and using it. Like we've seen Bakugo from the beginning of the anime and where he is now. Like he don't claim people to be his friends now, but they low key friends. Like they would protect each other. We seeing Bakugo be a little bit more selfless. You know what I'm saying? Like even in some of the training exercises that they do at school, he's protecting his classmates. You know what I'm saying? The Bakugo at the beginning of the series wouldn't have did that shit. He only cared about himself. He would have told they ass to just keep up or get left behind. And then like Deku, I think he's learning some stuff from Bakugo too. Like he's learning how to just like, you know, stop thinking as much. You know, just rely on your
You heard me?
instincts. Like you got everything that you need already.
Stop
You more
playing
than
with him. That's what it
capable.
is. Stop playing
Right.
with him. He be playing. He be
More than
trying to play.
capable. You got the power already. Just use it. But and to just have more confidence in itself. That was something that Deku was lacking, the confidence that Bakugo had.
Okay, so did you see the fight?
Which
you see the
one?
fight yet? Between them.
Between them two, when All Might had broke it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, they was going at each other. Yeah, that was one of my other favorite
Okay,
fight scenes too.
if you think they would have kept going, who was gonna win that fight?
If they would have kept going,
If All Might went there to break it up, then they would have just tried to smash each other. Who would have won?
mm,
It was a close fight.
I think it was a
Bakudo was
close
on
fight.
that, but
Yeah, I think Deku
Deku
would
was
have
like, "Yeah,
won.
I'm finna crack his."
I think I don't know. It was a fair fight, and I think it was pretty even. But I think Deku would have came out on top if they didn't get interrupted because he started to get serious. At first, he was holding back, but then he
Exactly.
realized that Bakugo wouldn't allow him to do that. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to go all in.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. If Deku full power was to not play with Bakudo out the gate, it's over with. And he gonna catch him in his jaw and it's over with. That boy gonna be trying to get back up. No, it's over with.
Right. So you got any other characters that you want to compare?
Who you think will win? All Might in his prime versus Deku in his prime?
I mean, I would say All Might just because he like, you know, he already had One for All for a long time, so he would know how to use it better than Deku would. And
True,
he got the experience.
but you see how Deku got multiple different quirks within it though.
That too, but if he's in his prime, like, well, I mean, are you considering right now where he's at in the anime to be his prime?
No, I'm saying like we both not caught up type stuff to the season 7. So I'm
Right.
saying we can't talk about that just yet. We're gonna have to tap back in on it. But if he start to master all his powers, we know who he gotta fight. He gotta fight the holder of the opposite power of him. So that means he fighting somebody that's just as strong, if not stronger than All Might already right now. He gonna have to beat somebody that's stronger than him. And technically he didn't already well, even though All Might, did you see that part? Oh man, I can't even spoil it for you. All Might went in his prime type stuff, but he got into a fight with All for One.
Oh yeah, I seen that already. Them two spot, yeah, and when he pretty
Yeah.
much lost the rest of what he had of One for All.
So we gonna see basically right then and there if he's stronger than him or not. Because if Deku can beat that man, it's over for All Might. All Might wouldn't have a chance. I mean, I know All Might fought him when he was already like, losing a lot of his steam type stuff, but with Deku mastering all of the different quirks within that quirk he got, I don't know. I think Deku gonna mop that boy.
It would be a good fight, but I think it would be difficult for Deku for one because he would be fighting his childhood idol. And I think All Might is gonna know just how to get in his head just enough to throw him off his game.
That's what I'm saying. If it's a serious fight and Deku got that bloodlust and he trying to win, it's a different story than if he acting like he act now. That's why people can't get with.
But that's just not his
'Cause he gotta.
personality.
I know it's not, but I'm just saying if we just talk about off raw strength, we know what's gonna happen. All right, so I'm gonna say Todoroki and what's that one dude name? Lemillion.
Ooh, Todoroki and Lemillion. Ah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I don't know. That's a good one. Lemillion, he's super skilled with his what is it, perfiation or something like that. His ability to phase through different things. Like that's like, yeah, he really put that work in to figure out how to use that. But you know, Todoroki also the son of the now number 1 hero. So he has a lot of raw strength that he ain't even tapped into yet because he's been suppressing his fire for all this time out of resentment for his father. So once he figure out how to use his fire and then he figures out how to use the two together, I don't know.
Yeah, it's over with. There's been times
I
he
don't know.
had to use both, so he getting used to him. I think Todoroki mopping that boy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like Lemillion gonna catch him for sure, but Lemillion can't even get too close to him, and that's when Lemillion is the dangerous. It's most dangerous is when he catching you. But if he get too close to him, it's too many different ways that Todoroki could grab him, either with the fire and burn him up, or freeze his ass and then burn him up.
Right.
So I think I
So,
think I think for sure if all right, so I'm gonna say this one then. Bakudo or Todoroki?
two fire users. I mean, I don't know. They've been spending a lot of time together. They've been doing they had to go finish their provisional licenses together. They both super talented. I don't know, man. That's another good fight. Todoroki got his ice. I don't
I'm
know. I
a,
figured that he might be able to try to use that to his advantage because Bakugo only able to use his fire, but
he
I don't
gonna
know.
have
His
to,
his ice might give him an upper hand in that fight.
and he gonna have to. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a good fight, but I'm gonna give it to Todoroki too, though. I feel like
Mm,
a lot of people will say Bakudo, but I think you can't. It's no real way that you can deny that that boy is overpowered. The way he hit boy in that stadium with that ice,
mm.
he was like, "Damn, you don't think that was OD?" I'm so like
Oh
he
yeah,
didn't
that
play
was
with
another
him.
one of my favorite fights. They was going at it
He
in
like,
that
"Oh
fight.
yeah," he like, "Oh yeah." Yeah, I like Todoroki. That's my
And
boy.
then Deku already done pushed him to like actually use his powers. So
That's
they
my
was
boy.
finna go at it. I was pissed that fight got stopped.
That's my boy. I think he'd be number two if they was to go like for hero. He number two after
Mm,
series, and I feel like that's against whoever really. But we see that they try to put him at the back burner. I feel like we know that he really like he almost number one. All right, so
yeah.
who you feel like a win Deku versus Todoroki?
Deku versus Todoroki.
You know, give it to Deku.
Um, yeah, I'll probably still give it to Deku on that one.
I feel like he gonna give him a more run for his money than Bakudo would.
Mm,
Cause Deku ain't gonna be able to get too close with him to use his might at least. Nah, he do got Black Whip and whatever
yeah.
else he got now,
And
but
his long distance
so he
attacks
could
that he's learning how to
yeah,
use now.
he can use long distance now, but if it weren't for that ice and that fire together, he wouldn't be able to do too much to Todoroki.
Mm. So I know you definitely wanted to talk about like Deku and why he always be crying and Bakugo and why he always angry. And then we'll
Yeah,
wrap it
so
up on that last point.
I I see why Deku always crying now. When I first watched it, I didn't think about it, right? So now that I'm thinking about his backstory, you don't really see no male figure around him, right?
Mm,
You just see him and his mama.
right.
So it makes sense that he a crybaby like that. He's
Mm,
so emotional. I'm gonna say it like that, and
yeah.
that's his character. And it's a lot of characters within animes that depict that of a man, the emotional, overly emotional man type stuff.
Mm.
Now I ain't gonna say he overly emotional, but come on now, busting out in tears. Come on now.
Where is his daddy? Did something happen to his dad?
I don't really feel like they discussed that too much because when I watched the first episode, I remember him being he was distraught when he learned that he wasn't gonna have no quirk. That boy was
Right.
so up. But you see, that's why I like anime. Back to the first point that we had, he could have had two different mindsets, right? He could have been like, "I right, forget this. I don't care, and then stop caring about being a superhero, basically." But he didn't. Even without a quirk, he still wanted to be a superhero, right? So
Mm.
even at that moment of trauma and everything that he was feeling type stuff, he still powered through it, right? But after he got his powers, you know, he got a little bit more confident, but he was still, like you said, the same character throughout the whole thing for the most part. So I feel like, yeah, they just really highlighted the fact that, we might not understand it, but I feel like that's what they was trying to do, highlight the fact that he had no male around him for real, for growing up. Other than the one who he looked up to, and thank God he was able to learn from that man that he looked up to, right? That's what a lot of males need to excel. So they showed that, right?
Mm.
They He didn't have a father in his life to teach him how to become a man. So that's why he was so overly emotional. But he was still able to get, teachers and counsel from another man that he looked up to, right? And that's what our men in our community need a lot, for real, for real. Like, of course, a lot of us looking up to the wrong dude. So that's who we trying to be like. Who did he look up to? He looked it up to the number one hero. And he looked it up to somebody else. He could have became a villain, right?
Mm.
And he didn't have no quirk, so that was his fuel right there. That was the two avenues he had. He could have been mad at the world because he ain't got no quirk, or what he do? Try to soldier on without the quirk, right? But still ended up with one anyway, one of the strongest quirks. So now he got everything he wanted anyway. And with Todoroki, he had it easy, right? So it's like you got two different backstories, or two different sides of the same coin, right? You got Deku started off with nothing, and then you got Todoroki, who started off with what looks like everything, right? Everybody was jealous of Todoroki because he was so strong.
Mm.
Of course, you got Bakudo. He's strong, but he's super arrogant. And where did he come from? He came from a happy family, right? For the most part, they was cool. That I remember. I don't remember it super in depth, but I remember Todoroki coming from a lot of trauma, and Bakudo coming from some nice stuff, but
What
still
seemed like it
having
was pretty decent.
but still having a crazy attitude, right?
Right.
So it just show you different ways people go, like, get or grow up type stuff, right? Todoroki, he was basically made to be strong, right? That's all
Mm.
that his pops really wanted him to be, for the most part, was strong. And that's why, he had a lot of resentment towards his pops, especially once he learned everything that happened and why he was really, you know, the strongest of all of his siblings, right? Because that was his dad' intention, was to breed a child with his quirk and his mother's quirk to be the number one hero. That's what he wanted him to be, right? Todoroki wasn't even really worried about that. Then you got Bakudo, who just naturally strong and wants to be the number one hero. So you got all of them three different dilemmas. All of them come from three different backstories, but they all striving for the same thing. Yet they all got completely different characters, right? So that's another thing I like about anime. Our stories well, I ain't gonna say our stories, but the shows that are super popular within the black community, like Power, Empire, and stuff like that. All these not Timu, but Tubi movies. I was gonna say Timu. That's stuck in my head. Tubi movies. But I said it again. All these Tubi movies that they be watching, the stories be decent and they can be deep, and sometimes they be revolved around our day-to-day lives. But anime stories, they backstories, they be super complex. They show you the trauma that people going through, even in our community, stuff like that. But they show you how to navigate out of those traumas as well too. And like I said, Deku, he was taught from his mother, and that's why he was so overly emotional until he started getting counsel from All Might. That's how he started to become a strong man that he really wanted to be. So that's how he started to become the number one hero, or at least started to aspire to becoming the number one hero, right? Then you got Todoroki. He was made to become the number one hero, but didn't really care about being the number one hero, right? But he still became one of the strongest heroes in his class, at least, and in the world, period. But that was just due to pure luck that that's what his pop's intentions was for having him, for being the strongest one. That's his pops was trying to live vicariously through his child because he was number two. So, and that's another thing that a lot of parents do. They try to live vicariously through their children. So they had these children and they have all these big aspirations. They try to shower them with everything that they didn't have so that they can become everything that they wasn't.
Mm.
That's basically the same thing that his pops was doing for Todoroki, right? So even though Todoroki didn't care about being the number one hero, or at least for his own pops liking, he wanted to do it basically with his mother's power, right? To spite his dad, even though he started using both. And then you got Bakudo, who arrogant because he was blessed with a power that made him strong off the rip, but he bullied people. He used his powers for or didn't always use his powers for good until he started to learn. And who did he really learn from? Because he came from a good parent. So he got in, I guess, either with the wrong group of kids. He had the arrogance from being strong and not really having to go to too much at all. So, you know, Todoroki had that. Todoroki, of course, had a super hard dad that was trying to live vicariously through him. And not only that, his mother resented him because he looked like his dad, and that she'd been through so much with his dad because his dad aspirations, right? So she resented him for that, burned his face. That's how he got the scar on his face, type stuff, right? It's crazy backstory, but he still was humble, even though he was blessed with a lot of strength. He nothing like not Todoroki, but Bakudo, and I like that because he came from some crazy shit, but he turned it around and was still a decent person, I heard, and wasn't trying to inflict pain on a lot of people like Bakudo was, where he didn't come from none of that. Came from a loving home, already blessed with strength. So it's like you're not really going through nothing for real, but you still out here inflicting pain on others because that's what you think is cool. Until you start to learn from the peers around you. So that's a good thing that he was blessed with the class that he was in. That's who he really learned from. He learned from his teacher, of course, and all of the peers that he had around him, right? And they say you are the sum with the 5 people that you hang around. So that's what started to really work into Bakudo's favor, being around Todoroki and Midori and people like him type stuff. So they backstories are all complex and they all go through redemption arcs, right? Deku getting his power, he never really did nothing or really had no real obstacle other than that. And then once he got the powers, he had the obstacle of learning how to use his powers without fucking himself up. And then you got what's the name of fighting with trauma, resentment, Todoroki, he fighting with trauma and resentment for his pops, so he not really trying to use his full potential. You know, he just trying to do what he can out of spite, which is,
Right.
you know, crazy that all of that happened, but it really showed how all of them grow. It showed how his pops even tried to, you know, show him that he really did care. He started to learn error his ways and change. And stop living vicariously through his son. Well, that's partly because he became the number 1 hero anyway. After All Might passed away, so he still got what he wanted, even though it wasn't the way he wanted it. So he had to learn that that wasn't what I really needed anyway. And Todoroki had to overcome his resentments for his pops, started to learn how to get along with him and learn his other side of himself, right? And that's what a lot of people miss out on. I feel like that's a good thing that they put that all in there encapsulated in like one big story. He went through a lot and everybody within his family had a lot of growth. Him and his pops type stuff, right? He was able to heal that resentment a little bit, and through that he was able to learn more about himself. And I feel like that's like one of the key points in a story that teaches me a lot, and I feel like that it can teach anybody a lot, is the fact that if you don't learn about at least who your parents was as a person, then you will miss out on a lot about yourself. And a lot of people do have resentment for parents that, you know, they don't really know or have a connection with, and they don't ever try to learn who that person is. You know, they don't ever try to have a connection with that person, or at least, you know, try to at least put together a picture of who that person was and what aspects of that person do I have within myself type stuff. So
Right.
that was a really good show. I'm glad that they put another season on there, and I'm definitely ready to get into the 7th season.
Oh yeah, for sure. You had a lot of good points. I think, well, first them Tubi movies be having some bad acting. I mean, I've seen a few good movies on
Yeah,
Tubi, but
they got a few good ones.
I've been seeing some bad acting on there for the most part. Like it's like it ain't like super bad, but it's like cringe bad. It's bad
It,
enough, but
it's super low quality. That's all it is. It's
yeah,
just the lowest quality possible. That's why when you see all them shooting guns, the flame look off, fake as a mug. You can tell that they ain't shooting a gun. It ain't no recoil. They just bang, 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 bang. And all you
yeah,
see is
it's just
like
lower production.
fake bullet holes. Like, bro,
Yeah, it's just that
Tubi is
low production
hilarious,
quality.
but they got some decent stories. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's some decent stories. I was just actually watching one last night, and that's what gave me that. Oh, not last night, a few nights ago. But that's what
Mm,
gave me that epiphany because it's just like, dang, people really be loving these movies type stuff. And as I really got to watching it, I'm like, this movie do got a good backstory, but it's still super traumatic, right?
mm,
And did it have a good ending? It really didn't have a good ending. Actually, thinking about it, it didn't have a good ending. It had a traumatic ending. So the entire movie was traumatic. Now, understand that it's probably based on a true story, or at least certain people go through certain things, or at least
mm.
think about going through those things type stuff. But at the end of the day, that's all you watch it all day long. I feel like that's more lame than anything. So as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, damn, it got a good story, you know, but it's dramatic as hell type shit. So like that's all you watching all day, like. How you think you gonna have some nice thoughts in your head when you watching traumatic shit all day?
Right. But
I had
yeah,
to
like
throw
I didn't
on Dragon
even
Ball Z after
right
that.
try to clear your head up a little bit.
I swear I did. I'm like, yeah, man, that was crazy. Like the movie was crazy, bro. It was about a girl who killed all her cheating exes,
Mm.
and it was
I used to
and
do that low key with like scary movies. Like I turn on some kitty shit after watching a scary movie, so I wouldn't have a bad dream.
yeah, it was a super crazy movie, man. Like, of course, she come from a super traumatic background, and she ended up killing her childhood molester, and that's what I guess gave her the murder. I don't know what it was, but she just went on to start just killing everybody who cheated on her. And I'm just like, this is crazy.
Right. But yeah, like I didn't even think about what you said, like for Deku, like, I mean, of course, like him, like I did pay attention that he was like, a more sensitive character, but I never really like deeply thought about like he did grow up with not having a father around and his mom is super sensitive, so like that's clearly why he is a lot more sensitive.
Yeah,
But
man.
Bakugo, he got some underlying shit like on like that's not people don't see on the surface, that like it seemed like he come from a pretty decent family, but I don't know how present his parents actually are. Like maybe he's so angry and arrogant because he doesn't receive enough affection from his parents. You know what I'm saying? Like they may just kind of let him do his own thing and may not show him that much attention or whatever. So maybe that's one of the reasons why he's so angry. But because he wasn't always like that. Like in the beginning of the anime, him and Deku was friends at first. Then he started to kind of change and switch up and be this angry person all the time. But I definitely think that could be one of the reasons why he's like that. But he's kind of starting to open back up a little bit. And I right now, he, like I said earlier, he don't really have no friends, but I think in the anime he'll get to a point to where like he's protecting his friends, or he'll say like, like, yeah, these are my people or what have you. But you know, great stuff, man. We covered a lot. Definitely
Facts.
appreciate you for tuning in. I have to come back and talk
I
about
appreciate you
either
for
some
having me,
more.
man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. We either come back and talk about some more of My Hero, or we can cover some other stuff. Demon Slayer is currently going on, so go catch up on Demon Slayer.
You got to watch Sword Art Online, man.
I do need
It's
to watch that.
like it was super popular back when it was like first came out. I wouldn't say that it was like super mainstream, but for the most part, that's what like I think it was like mainstream, like the Naruto, the Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, stuff that everybody see and they know is anime. So if they watch those, they feel like they're anime head, the mainstream animes type stuff. And if you haven't watched Bleach, you got to get into Bleach too, because that's a really good one.
I used to watch Bleach a long time ago when it's coming on, like, them Adult Swim days when anime come on late at night. Bleach was one of the ones that I would watch, but it's like I never really like dove deep into it and paid attention to like who everybody was and what the all the backstory was and everything like that. So that's the anime that I need to rewatch. I want to rewatch Naruto so I can get into Boruto. Like, it's a lot of misconceptions and just like conflict with Boruto, and just people talking about it ain't good. So, I want to rewatch all that stuff and just get back into some of the ones that I didn't pay much attention to, like,
And you
in my
said,
early childhood days.
and you said, my homework was to watch a Black Clover, right?
Yeah, so you could watch Black Clover. The one on Netflix that's like Sword Art Online is called Goodnight World.
Let me write that down. Hold on. Let me write that down. Got my training shirt, man.
Oh yeah.
Just so y'all know, I'm a certified fitness trainer. If
Yes,
y'all trying to
sir.
get like these anime characters out here, get with me.
Yep, that definitely get you right.
Black Clover,
Goodnight World, and I think those was the only two I had for you to watch. I think.
yeah. Another one that you got to try to find is This Ugly Yet Beautiful World. It's a very old one, so you probably have to find it on like one of these websites. I heard they be streaming anime for free.
It might be on Crunchyroll. I'm gonna check and see if it's on there.
It's not on Crunchyroll.
Damn. All right, I'm gonna have to see if I can find it.
All right, my brother. I appreciate you for having me for sure, man. This is definitely a good talk.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. So appreciate all the listeners, all y'all for tuning in, man. Before we end things off, don't forget to follow us on all socials. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow the podcast on Spotify. We on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, with all the different podcasts, man. You can find us anywhere. But we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We'll see y'all with the next one.